Recording in progress. That's a new announcement. Okay. All right, everybody. I will see you in an hour's time.
Adios.
Well, good morning. Everything comes from silence and everything returns to silence. Now, you may wonder what is the importance of knowing this, and why is it of any significance? In a moment, we will go to our healing list. And I am sure there'll be questions to answer after that. But it is just as important to show people how to find your own answers. Those which are requiring healing, how to provide your own healing. It does not come from the noise, from the mind, from the world. The physical world can heal physical problems, but these are the effects and not always the cause. So if you wish to create something, first sit in your silence. The more silent you are, the more that you will create. Now you can practice this with asking for anything you wish, or you can practice this for understanding an answer to a question. In effect, you are asking your questions now to silence, even though there is a personality here present answering them. It is the silence which will answer all the time. If you have no answer, you have no silence. Be still and know. The stillness is the medium from which all comes. So let us progress with our healing list. And once the names are mentioned, I do not ask you to send love, but I ask you to hold all those mentioned within your heart, within the silent place within your heart. There are occasions when we undertake healing for those which are not present with us. Distance is not the barrier. The mind is the barrier. So let us begin with our list, and then I ask you for just a few seconds of silence. So what names do we have, Brandon?
Okay, thank you. We have Alan Brackett, Angie, Jason and Ben, Liz and Joe, Emily and Paul, Kevin and Vicky, Kate and Jim, Rosa, Asha, Coulter, Kelsey, Mark and Sandra, Bruno, Howard, Chris, Paya, Maureen, Jerry, Baby James, Lena, Teresa Neal, Vivian Sellers, Anna Sellers, Charlotte Burridge, Nazrin, Gail Meller, Ariel, Adria, Laura, Teresa, Ed, Eileen, Alexandra, Irene, George, Angelina, Anna, Kat, Loy, Tristan L, Chris M, Carolyn M, Nicole Ives, Loretta and Michelle, Adelaide and Carmel, Madonna, and for the Andrews family in their grief, Raylene Parsons, Neil Parsons, Lynn Balding, Carrie Balding, Joshua French, Jennifer Doherty, Luke Doherty, And we all wish great progress for Barbara's return back to spirit. Thank you.
Can I assure you all that all names mentioned are held within the heart of the Creator? All names are gently wrapped in love. Are given the peace that they require. They must choose to allow the peace into their life. It is often asked, and I am sure that you have heard mentioned yourself if you have not used the phrase, why does bad things happen to good people? Why is it that times the innocent suffer? Those with a good heart end up with a failing body. Why is it that I do good and yet I receive all these obstacles? I have tried hard and yet I receive no support. Why have you left me in my hour of need? You have either used them or you can relate to them. You see, good and bad, of course, are a duality, and it is good that means you'll get bad, and bad means you will get good. And you think, well, that negates what I have said. But it is the act of judgment that creates all of this. It's the act of seeing the body. It is not the act of seeing the Atman, the spirit, the para Atman, the creator. In the talk last week, you can see peace within war. This infers that there is a substructure, something else going on that you must find. And it is from this that no good or bad will occur. Everything will be as it is. no grief comes, no pain comes. And you say to yourself, this is impossible. How can I live in this world and have no pain, no difficulties, no problems? Surely, in part, that is why I am here. To have a difficulty that I must learn to overcome. A problem I must get around or get over. But you are missing the point. Your life's mission is to find that substructure. Your life's purpose is then to express it. Let me change the words. Find the truth and then bring that truth into the world. Find your spirit and let it shine. Let spirit do the work. It is easy to see your problems, but when you look around, it's very difficult to see spirit. It's difficult to see spirit in the flowers and the leaves, in the cars, the mountains, the grass, the trees. Yet spirit is everywhere. You often define spirit by being an energy around your body. But spirits are in the gap between you and I. Between you and your partner. They are not just in each, but in between. It has to be this way. Coming into your peace means you drop away your desire for the external world. And as soon as you start to see the world around you change, either in perception or thought, sometimes even physically, you see changes, then your meditation is beginning to work. There is a great sage, Lahiri Mayasara. And one of you will come across this name soon. One of you has already come across this great sage, has come across his teacher. But it is more common to come across his disciples. Now, I mention this great sage, or guru if you prefer, for you to understand that the way is the silence. When you come across this name, this person, know that it has been brought to you now as validation. I bring you the validation before you ask the question. Perhaps in 1 week's time, you will understand what I mean. When we get to the questions in a moment, when the question is asked, how do I do this? What is that? I ask you all to sit in your silence and to feel what is said. Some, of course, will hear different things. I hope that the answers will stir something in you. The idea of these questions is not just to answer a question from one person. It is far more complex. The idea is to answer the question for that person in such a way that a flower germinates in another. And this is why I ask you to sit in silence to allow that germination, to allow that feeling of truth. Truth recognizes truth. And this is the germination I am talking about. So let us go to the first question, if I may.
Yes, the question is from Angelina Paralikis. She's not here right now, so I'll just ask the question real quick. What is the process of the soul to decide to reincarnate, and what role do the Council of Elders play in the whole decision making?
The soul makes a decision to reincarnate based on its memory. It is based on this memory that it has learned something and therefore wants to evolve through it or from it. So if you remember the analogy of walking into a movie theater, watching the movie, but sitting in the audience, a little bit of that movie obviously stays with the audience. I'm sure you would understand this, that you remember parts. But not only do you remember the part, but you learn a little. And in some people's cases, they then desire to replicate in some way. In that replication, then the soul gains memory. Memory then creates the desire to manifest. Not only the desire to manifest, but the form the manifestation will take place. Now, you can see this in your life. Those of you which study anything psychological will know that seeds are sown when you are young to manifest later. Issues which are mentioned are seen, grow to manifest later. Some, of course, come from previous seeds. So if you think you will have this occur in your life, the memory and the referral of it within your mind will create it. Your mind is the creator. This, of course, is the axis of memory. Memory, as I have said, will create the body also. So that there are those which say, I do not wish to be born again. This is far too traumatic. So unclear, I do not get definition. And see, this is the way everything ties together. If the mind creates, you will continue to be reborn as your mind strives to gain something it perceives it is missing or something it wishes to learn. But a mind that is clear, a mind that is still, will walk through the veil and choose to sit in spirit and not in astral world. Remember, I said, sit in the silence. Have I always not said that your mind is the barrier? The mind creates a movie. Did I not say, stop looking at the movie, start looking at the observer of the movie? So it is the purifying of the mind which will take you off the wheel of karma. And this is why Buddhism is considered a practice of death, learning to go past the mind. So at the time of the transition, they do not pick the pathway of reincarnation, but another pathway. Now, I hope that makes some sense to Angelina. And I hope you can feel this within your being. If you would like me to explain it another way, stop being the wave, start being the ocean, and realize that there is far more depth to your being than the surface level. Now, she said, the Council of Elders, how do they influence the reincarnation? Well, this depends on your belief. There are beliefs which say exactly as I just said, that you pass, and in Tibetan Buddhism, you go to the Bardo. It is the realm between realms, and wait for your reincarnation to occur. For some, it is instant, for others, a short delay. If you also remember, in another talk, I said those which are attached to the physical will leave the body through their solar plexus. The lower chakras representing the physical form. Those which undertake spiritual work will leave their body through their crown. And some degrees in between. So the Council of Elders are like those which help you in your decision making. In essence, they are still part of your mind, if you wish. They're still part of your process of determination, of memory. There are those which can help and advise about how to create what it is you wish to learn. Let us say you wish to learn loneliness. What is the best way? Who needs to be involved in your loneliness? So you can learn your experience, decide on your experience, but sometimes you will need assistance in creating that experience. So here, then you are given those which will assist you and say, well, if you wish to learn loneliness, let's learn this way. The loneliness seed is implanted from some time prior to be learned at this time. So loneliness may have been planted for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lifetimes prior. And decides to manifest because somewhere in that life, a person has watered that seed to manifest in the next life. And again, if I bring you into Buddhism, they do aspire to gain merit. What you do today will flower tomorrow. It's the practice of loving kindness. Rather like that circle that you give one way and comes round to greet you another day. Depending on your spiritual evolvement, that manifestation of that karma can occur within minutes. The more spiritually evolved you are, the quicker your karma is dealt with. Now, all this sounds very esoteric. And you would like me to lighten it a little. Clarify your mind. The more peace you have on the inside, the more you'll have on the outside. And the more peace you have, the more purity of spirit you will feel and see. Let us move on to another question.
Thank you for that. We do have a question from Lena. Lena, would you like to ask your question?
Thank you, Ignatius.
Hmm.
I would like to know if the planetary and celestial shifts affect the spirit world like they do the physical world.
The shifts you are talking about, of course, are all physical. The physical shifts are felt within particularly the lower levels of the astral world, because this is the point of witnessing and creating anything that occurs in the physical dimensions. If you are talking about spirit world or spirit in its purity, now, let us say the difference between the two is soul or spirit. It is felt by the soul. It may be created by the soul. But spirit is the depth of the ocean, and it is undisturbed, almost unbothered by whatever occurs on the surface. So look at it this way. And you can feel this too. And particularly you, my dear. If you remember, I told you before, the depth of your being means you are far more advanced than you believe. And I believe now you are beginning to understand me. When you go into the depth of your being and you sit in your stillness, your space, if you get a noise, if you are truly in that stillness, the noise does not bother you. If you are in a light meditation, the noise may make you jump or bring your awareness to it. If you are in no meditation, then the noise is just one of many, and at times may even not be recognized at all. So the shifts in the planet, the shifts in the energy, the shifts in what is occurring within the world is felt mainly within the body, perceived within the mind, but is not effective on anything concerning the true spirit. So you can tell your spiritual evolvement. If I was to insult you, if your spiritual evolvement is little, the insult will feel quite sharp, and you may choose to react by insulting me. When you've undertaken some work, the insult that comes in your way may just be heard, and you may think, I wonder why he says that. When you are a spirit and you can relate to that spirit, if I insulted you, it would be like breeze passing through a tree. Hardly felt, and just passes through without being held on to. So again, the degree you hold on to something shows how spiritually evolved you are. So I would suggest to you that come into your stillness. Don't let any shift just happen. All shifts are within the movie. Let's just have another question.
Thank you for that, Lena. We have a question from Raylene. Would you like to ask your question?
Hi, Ignatius. My question is, oh gosh, what was my question? Upon reincarnation, can a soul choose to wake up at an earlier stage of their life to serve spirit?
Can you choose to wake up? Is this different to what is planned? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Waking up takes place instantly. It does not take time. Now you think that is completely false, that waking up can take many months, many years, many lifetimes. But the awakening is a flick of a switch. You go from unawake to awake in the flick of a switch. When you get there, you will understand what I am saying to be true. You hold on and then you let go. There is nowhere, no gap in between that. So, you can choose to wake up right now. Right now. And everyone else the same. And you'll be thinking to yourself, well, okay, I will do it. I will wake up right now and I will see clearly. So then I will show you how to do that. Let go of your physical form. That is it. I do not mean transition, die, pass on, kick the bucket. I mean, let go. Totally let go. Now you see, you are already awake. You are already seeing the purity of the world. You choose not to. And you say to me, no, I do not choose. I want to be awake. No. The truth is, you want to be asleep. Mankind holds on to form, onto mind, onto habit, onto memory. The mind falsely perceives that if I just have a little bit more, then I will gain. So rather than the river flowing, a dam starts to build. Now, if you have ever, at any stage, and my dear, I think you can relate to this, but if you have ever at any stage decided to get rid of everything you own, right, I will get rid of everything and I will go live in a caravan, for example, or I will become a nomad. Today, with your, and I talk generally, with the human belief system, there is a perception of loss. I have lost my comfort. I have lost my money, my spare clothes. But if you do it, there is actually a feeling of release. Every ornament that you look around your house, every book you have on a shelf, every spare shirt you have in your wardrobe, every bit of food you have in your freezer, you carry in your being. If you truly let go of everything, there is not loss, there is gain. So you hold on to everything like the man walking through a desert with a sack of rubbish. The wise man says, "What do you have in your sack?" And he puts it down and it's full of rubbish. The wise man says, "Why do you not just let it go?" And the man says, "But it is all I have." It is the holding on to possessions, to knowledge, to knowing the right way, to the Dharma. It is holding on to the teaching. It is holding on to, well, Buddha told me this way. Jesus told me to do that. The church says this. I have only ever told you to let go, to surrender, to let go of the thoughts and sit into the silence. Is memory not just holding on? Is memory not creating the world? So hence, the letting go is a flick of a switch. It's, I will wake up now. I will give it all away. And this is what is symbolized by the monks and nuns going off into the forest or a cave or into the snow. They are not learning to hold on to anything. They are learning to let go. To realize that they have always let go. They just thought they held on. What blocks people in their mediumistic process is holding on to the physical world, holding on to a way of working. I must follow pathway 1, 2, 3. Is not the body holding on? And do you not, when you let go, you walk in the kingdom of heaven? Is that not letting go? I said last night to a group that people hold on to what they know. It is far wiser to say, all I know is I know nothing. And this is how Socrates was described by the Oracle of Delphi, to be the wisest man in the world, because he knew that he didn't know. And you know this to be true yourself. You may look at another here, your partner, your child. You think, I know them. I have been with them for 40 years. I know them. Yet they always surprise you. The memory of a person defines them in your mind. And it means you carry old habits, old behaviors, old ways of judging it, old hurts and pains that they gave you. If your partner hurt you, let us say they cheated on you or they performed some action which was not correct, holding on to that pain, who does it do damage to? Clearly, it damages the person that holds the pain. Can you look at another person, be with them for 40 years, and each day look at them as if you've met them for the first time? Difficult to do. But can you see the beauty in it? Can you see how your heart would open and that rekindling of juvenile love would occur again? Still with the depth and richness of maturity, but the passion of youth. When you look at your partner, you see your pain. You do not see their soul or spirit. The person you see is a reflection of what you have to deal with yourself. If you remember, I simplified my talk by saying, if there's peace within, there's peace without. Look at your partner. Do you see peace? Or do you see pain? You need to clarify your mind. And then you would look at your partner and you will see he is an expression of spirit dancing in the moonlight. Isn't that lovely? Spirit dancing in the moonlight. So, choose to wake up now. Be done with it. If not, if you cannot, there's something you're holding on to. And then you will see peace in war, as I referred to last week in the book called The Seven Valleys. Brendan, do we have more time for another question?
We have time for one quick one. It's a question submitted by Kelsey Maples. The question is, I am wondering about how to go about cutting the cord with someone energetically. Thank you.
The answer is tied up with what I've already said. The truth is, the cutting of the cord is a reflection of what you see in the other, which is in yourself. You wish to remove yourself from that connection. Are you trying to remove a little part of you that you do not wish to deal with? So let us add some words to it. For example, let us say this person gave you everything once, filled your life full of joy once, and filled you full of so much happiness until one day it all changed. Let us say this is hypothetical. They hurt you so much that you said, I cannot go back now. And you choose to now let them go. But it is painful within you to let go because you actually do not want to. So you choose to cut away that attachment. Now, the attachment you have, of course, is within mind. It is clearly not within body. You are not tied together, but it is within mind that you are attached. So we must change the mind. How do we change the mind? Well, we go past it. We go past it into the quiet and ask it to create something else. So sit in silence and say, let us remove that and let us create this. If you sit in silence and just imagine that person, you'll create that person. If you sit in silence and gently let them go and imagine the opposite, two things could happen. The opposite event will occur, or you'll see that new creation in the old person. It is the mind that needs to be worked on. It is the mind that needs to be clarified. It is within all of you. Your mind needs to be clarified. Step beyond it, and that is where your truth lies. So, as was started with, those on the healing list bring into the silence, and they'll be held in the heart of the Creator. Bring your mind to silence and create something else that you wish. There are many things you wish for, my dear. Create them. But you must be in the silence to do it, truly. Now, I believe my time is done. Am I correct, Brandon?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you so much.
Now, before I go, please bring your questions and your people for healing next week. And next week, we will also talk about the way you and I can work together and all the other personalities through the process of education that we have done once before. Until then, come back to your peace and know everything is okay. Let go. God bless you all.